Everyone's been saying we had the toughest run in the last 5 or 6 games, which is probably true. But that makes them great games. I mean, today, was a fantastic occasion, wasn't it? The crowd were fantastic for both teams. And from our perspective, it was a really good game of Premiership rugby. Now, no doubt, Northampton will feel slightly different to that. But you look at the first half, it was cat and mouse, really, wasn't it? We probably didn't quite make use of the conditions we'd have liked. Probably mainly because we didn't force that scrum pressure into being a try. At the end of the first, I've been shouting a bit. At the end of the first half, but I think actually we grew as the game went on. And we did do well in the forward exchanges. There's no getting away from that, and that ultimately that pressure counts for a lot. Defensively, we did nearly everything differently to we did at Leicester a couple of weeks ago, where we made it very hard for Northampton to score. There wasn't a lot of easy penalties given up. Northampton had to go through multi-phases to try and get anything out of us. And like any game, in any pressure game, sometimes you just need to give the opportunity, the chance to make a mistake. And I think defensively, that's what we did today. We were prepared to defend for long periods of time, be disciplined, and that ultimately meant that sometimes we got the ball back. We got the ball back in a variety of ways before we gave up penalties, and that worked really well for us today.
So I suppose you're a bit annoyed about giving that try in the last.
Well, yeah, the try at the end is tough, isn't it? But ultimately, it didn't affect anything in the game for us. And at that stage, that was probably the one stage of the game where we gave away 3 penalties on the bounce, and it kind of shows you if that's what happens in a game, you give up points. We didn't do that at any other stage, so we didn't give up the points.
If this kind of type of win, with all the elements you've just mentioned, is that kind of very pleasing as a reflection of where you are? You're in a playoff position. I know you've got the 3 games to go. But a sign of your maturity over the last sort of 18 months or so?
Well, I think the league positions don't lie today, and you look at Northampton's league position, and that shows they've been the most consistent achievers and performers over the season. If we're back in 4th, I think now. That probably is about right where our level of consistency has been this year. We've had good runs, but we've been a bit different to some other teams. We haven't been patchy where we've had a couple of wins and a loss. We've actually had good runs of wins, but then we tend to shoot ourselves in the foot a bit with runs of losses. But no, I'm very clear. I think the most pleasing thing for me today is we didn't look like a team that are having away at the end of a season. We looked like a team that are pretty excited about being involved in big games. That was a big physical game of rugby today, and we looked excited to be part of it. And I think the lads knew going into that game we had a massive game next week, and yet they've laid everything on the line today. And that's what you need. You need to lay everything on the line today. Then we've got to do it all again next week, and we've got to do that week in, week out. But actually, looking at the lads, I think they seem to be very excited about it as a run of games and as the where we are in the league. And other times, being 3rd or 4th or 5th has scared us a little bit, I think. But it certainly didn't scare us today.
You finish in these positions in the season, you could be playing them again. Presumably that wouldn't frighten you,
It's not about being frightened. I mean, Northampton are a very good side, and they'll play better than they did today before the end of the season. They know that. They had a tough fixture last week. You got to get back from France and get everything organised and deal with all the tough bits of reviewing that game, which they've had to do, and then roll on down here. This is not an easy couple of turnaround fixtures. I'm very aware of that. So, they'll be a week off next week. They'll refresh very quickly. And no doubt if we do play well enough to deserve to go back to Northampton, I'll be delighted. It certainly won't be a game I'll worry about now. I'll worry about how we're possibly going to get there.
When you consider what the personnel he's up against today, Rob, where do you put you as in the pecking order, batting order?
I don't need to put him anywhere, do I? I'll just let you guys watch the game.
But that was a...
Well, he was the stopper on the pitch, wasn't he? He was the guy who stopped things and got things going forward, and that's a massive quality to have. And as you say, that wasn't like we were playing against a second-rate side out there. That was a frontline pick, and there was a lot of international forwards on the pitch, and he had a very good game. And I think that him along with most of our forwards, I think we got the set piece battle we came out on top of, which is just we've got to do if you get any chance of winning against Northampton. And then, as I said, I just thought our endeavour to defend for long periods, and the amount of defence we turned into attack today was fantastic. And I think ultimately that wins your games, doesn't it?
And Francis again up against an incredibly highly rated player. There's a bit been spoken about Francis this season. Where do you put his game at the moment?
Ever improving. He's a young guy, isn't he? He'll only improve with regular game time and regular exposure. He's in that situation where he's been in a Wales training camp, but He's English, so it's again. I'll leave it to you guys to see what should be inferred from that.
You dominated the big name pack.
Yeah, I thought they did very well today, our front row. But as I said, you know, you've got to make it a collective thing. So you've got to make sure that you're getting field position. If you're getting field position, if you're getting the put-ins, it's an easier game. You know, if you're on your 5 metre line and they've got the ball, it's a totally different kettle of fish. And I think that's what we did well as a team. We controlled field position. We didn't give up the penalties, so you know we weren't defending a lot of defensive positions. I think ultimately that all counts towards helping your front row and your forwards get in and start to express themselves and start to maybe get on top.
And the only set piece you lost cost you the first half try, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, we bumbled a line out there. We didn't react to it very well, and bang, they're in the corner, and it made the first half a really, really tight battle. But you know, as I said, I thought our confidence and our maturity grew through the game, and second half, you know, I thought we were outstanding in the second half.